Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we have uh, we'll continue from where we left. This is Vidura is asking his questions to Maitreya Muni, and after he finishes his dialogue with Uddhava, so that's the place we are in, and let's continue from where we left. It is sloka number 8 of 5th chapter of the 3rd canto. एस्तत्त्वभेदैर् अधिलोकनाथो लोकानलोकान् सह लोकपालान् अचिक्लब्धयत्र हि सर्वसत्त्व sorry, सत्त्व निकाय भेदो अधिकृत pratitah. Translation: The Supreme King of all kings has created different planets and places of habitation where the living entities are situated in terms of modes of nature and work, and he has created their different kings and rulers. King. Purport: Lord Krishna is the chief king of all kings, and he has created different planets for different kinds of living entities. Even on this planet, there are different places for inhabitation by different types of men. There are places like deserts, icelands, and valleys in mountainous countries, and in each of them there are different kinds of men born of different modes of nature according to their past deeds. There are people in the Arabian deserts and in the valleys of Himalayan mountains, and the inhabitants of these two places differ from one another, just as the inhabitants of Iceland also differ from them. Similarly, there are also different planets. The planets below the Earth, down to the Patala planet, are full of various kinds of living beings. No planet is vacant as wrongly imagined by the modern so-called scientist. In Bhagavad Gita, we find it said by the Lord that the living entities are sarvagata, or present in every sphere of life. So there is no doubt that on other planets there are also inhabitants like us, sometimes with greater intelligence and greater opulence. The living conditions for those of greater intelligence are more luxurious than on this earth. There are also planets where no sunlight reaches, and there are living entities who must live there due to their past deeds. All such plans for living conditions are made by the Supreme Lord, and Vidura requested Maitreya to describe this for the sake of further enlightenment. So, here we see that various kinds of different kinds of living entities are there, and according to their karma, they get different kinds of bodies. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada was mentioning uh, places like this Iceland and all. It's very, very difficult to live there, and there are many nice places to live are there, but still the people over there, no, they get attached to their place and then they just stay there. They don't kind of vacate from there and go to a comfortable place and things like that. So that's the karma. They have to stay there. It is destined for them. Even if they try or anything, like, it is very difficult for them to change. Until unless they have their karma actually allows that to happen. Okay, text 9. Yena prajanam mutahatmakarma rupabhi danam cha vidham vyadatta narayano vishvar vishvashrug atmayonir etachano varnya vipravarya. O chief amongst the Brahmanas, please also describe how Narayana, the creator of the universe and the self sufficient Lord, has differently created the natures, activities, forms, features, and names of different living creatures. Hmm. Purport. Every living being is under the plan of his natural inclinations in terms of modes of material nature. His work is manifested in terms of the nature of three modes. His form and bodily features are designed according to his work, and his name is designated according to his bodily features. For example, the higher classes of men are white, Shukla, and lower classes of men are black. This division of white and black is in terms of one's white and black duties of life. Pious acts lead one to take birth in a good and high placed family, to become rich, to become learned, and to acquire beautiful bodily features. So, we have always been discussing that Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shri. So, good birth, and wealth, Aishwarya. Shruta is good education, and Shri is beauty. So all these are different features, which a person gets out of the result of karma. Good karma means good janma, good Aishwarya, and good education, and good beauty. And bad karma means like, these may be, like, in its they may not have this in full. So but then both good and bad karma are bad only. Like, we have to go towards Krishna consciousness, because that is ultimate good. So materially good and materially bad, it doesn't make much difference, both are equally bad, right? So, okay, impious acts lead one to become poor by parentage, to be always in want, no, like Janma, Aishwarya, both are things are mentioned, to become fool or illiterate, no Shruta, no, not good education is there, and to acquire ugly bodily features, no Shri is also not there. Vidura requested Maitreya to explain these differences between all the living creatures made by Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, text 10. परावरेशां भगवन् व्रतानि श्रुतानि मे व्यासमुखादभीक्ष्णम् अतृ अतृपुन् अतृप्नुम क्ष्ल शुल्ल सुखावहानां तेषां हृते कृष्ण कथामृतौ घात् अतृप्नुम Kshulla. Kshulla. Okay. It's a little difficult words. Okay. Translation. Oh my Lord, I have repeatedly heard about these higher and lower statuses of human society from the mouth of Vyasadeva, and I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters and their happiness. They have not satisfied me with the nectar of the topics about Krishna. Purport. Because people are very much interested in hearing social and historical presentations, Srila Vyasadeva has compiled many books such as Puranas and Mahabharata. These books are reading matter for mass of people, and they were compiled with a view to reviving their God consciousness, now forgotten in the conditioned life of material existence. The real purpose of such literatures is not so much to present topics of historical reference, but to revive the people's sense of God consciousness. For example, Mahabharata is the history of battle of Kurukshetra, and common people read it because it is full of topics regarding the social, political, and economic problems of human society. But factually, the most important part of Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita, which is automatically taught to readers along with the historical narrations of Battle of Kurukshetra. Vidura explained to Maitreya his position of being fully satiated with the knowledge of mundane social and political topics and having no more interest in them. He was anxious to hear transcendental topics regarding Lord Sri Krishna, because there were insufficient topics directly because there were insufficient topics directly concerning Krishna in Puranas and Mahabharata, etc. He was not satisfied and wanted to know more about Krishna. So this is a very important point. Even Krishna himself mentions in Bhagavad Gita that what is that? The Vedic literatures is like completely or most of the portion of Vedic literatures are concerning with the topics of the three modes of nature. No, so he actually tells Arjuna that you come above the three modes of nature. So here we see that even Mahabharata and many Puranas, so they also are within the three modes of nature. They cannot be called as completely transcendental literatures. Why they cannot be called as completely transcendental literatures? Because they speak a lot about material, sociology, politics, and many other things, and then they touch upon Krishna consciousness also. No, they don't. They are not exclusively transcendental literatures. No, they are mixed kind of literatures, right? So in that way, like we see that these are all not fully perfect literatures, right? And like our Vidura is telling, I have heard sufficient of them and I'm completely satiated. Means this one, I'm completely, means it's enough of hearing about them. So I'm uh, okay with whatever I've known already. But topics about Krishna, so they are not being fully described, or I have still hankering to know about Krishna. So please talk something about Krishna to me. No, that's what Vidura is actually telling. Right? So Krishna Katha or topics, we will continue reading. Krishna Katha or topics regarding Krishna are transcendental, and there is no satiation in hearing such topics. Bhagavad Gita is important on account of its being Krishna Katha or speeches delivered by Lord Krishna. The story of the Battle of Kurukshetra may be interesting for the mass of people, but to a person like Vidura, who is highly advanced in devotional service, um, only Krishna Katha and that which is dovetailed with Krishna Katha is interesting. So Vidura wanted to hear of everything from Maitreya, and so he inquired from him, but he desired that all the topics be in relation with Krishna. As fire is never satisfied in its consumption of firewood, so a pure devotee of the Lord never hears enough about Krishna. That means how much ever he hears, he thinks that no, I need to hear more. I need to always be Krishna conscious. And a very, very amazing example is used here. A fire is never satisfied in its consumption of firewood. How much ever firewood you give, it will keep consuming. No, the fire is like that. In the same way, a devotee of the Lord, how much ever Krishna Katha is given, he is very, very eager to take. No, he is very eager to consume them. Okay. Historical events and other narrations concerning social and political incidents all become transcendental as soon as they are in relation with Krishna. That is the way to transform mundane things into spiritual identity. The whole world can be transformed into Vaikuntha if all worldly activities are dovetailed with Krishna Katha. There are two important Krishna Kathas current in the world, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna Katha because it is spoken by Krishna, whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna Katha because it narrates about Krishna. Lord Chaitanya advised all his disciples to preach Krishna Katha all over the world without discrimination because the transcendental value of Krishna Katha can purify one and all from material contamination, right? So it's very, very powerful, this one. So this is also some kind of a discussion where no, we are discussing about the topics of Krishna, but then this discussion, this speaking and hearing, which is which is in connection with Krishna, is very, very purifying. Hmm. So whereas the other kinds of speeches and the hearing of other kind of speeches, it is not much of value. It is only helping us to exhaust some of our energy and taking us closer to death. No, that's it. Nothing else specific about it. Okay, let's go to the next sloka, text 11. Kastrip नुयात् तीर्थपदोभिधानान् सत्रेषु वः सूरिभिर्idयमानात् य कर्णनादिं पुरुषस्य यातो भवप्रदां गेहरतिं chinatti. who in human society can be satisfied without hearing sufficient talks of the Lord, whose lotus feet are the sum total of all places of pilgrimage, and who is worshipped by great sages and devotees. Such topics can cut off one's bondage to family affection simply by entering the holes of one's ears. So this is very amazing. These topics about Krishna, so they are very, very purifying. Once they enter the heart of the living entity, they purify all the kalmasha that is present in the heart, so completely. A purport: Krishna Katha is so powerful that simply by entering into a person's ear, it can at once give deliverance from the bondage of family affection. So, why specifically family affection is mentioned? Because that is the root of our attachment to this material world. So, what is this material world is all about for us? It's nothing but our family. That's all. No, that's the only affection that we have, and rest of it, this world, we don't even know what all things are there in this world. So many things are there in this world. Some of them we know, but of them, this family affection is considered to be the greatest tie of a person. And this affection, as we had mentioned, as we had read previously, if we can dovetail this affection in relation to Krishna, that means if all our family members are in relation to Krishna, so then that becomes a Krishna conscious family. So then it is no more binding to the material world. So, but if the purpose of a family is sense gratification, so then it is a bondage. Then a person is getting shackled, by the prison of family life, right? So the family becomes liberating when everyone of the family is devotees and they are striving to help each other to reach the ultimate destination, param padam, right? So then, such a family is glorious family, right? Okay. Family affection is an illusory manifestation of the external energy, and it is the only impetus for all mundane activities. As long as there is mundane activity and mind is absorbed in such engagement, one has to undergo the repetition of birth and death in the current material existence. So this is very important aspect. In some place, Prabhupada also writes that if the economy of a country should go on nicely, so then people should live in families. If people break the bonds of family and if they start living like cats and dogs, no having relationship with anyone and everyone, and just like they don't have any concept of family and things like that, so then the economy and all the material activities, the enthusiasm in the material activities, or the material development, technological development, or any kind of development in this world, will all those impetus will go for a toss. The impetus is there only because there is family attachment. That is why even economists also takes note that if there is no family bondage, then nobody will have any impetus to work. No, so that's the way the family attachment actually helps in material economy, right? So that's why it is mentioned as long as there is mundane activity and the mind is absorbed in such engagement, one has to undergo the repetition of birth and death. Okay, just before that, family affection is an illusory manifestation of external energy, and it is the only impetus for all mundane activities. So that is very, very important. So generally people say, like, if somebody is useless and he's not doing anything and things like that, so the general saying is, okay, get him married. Like, no, he will start working, he will start doing things. So that's kind of a saying. So in the same way, like, we can see that this attachment is what is drives people to work in this material world, and that also increases the bondage. And the more we are bound to the material activities, more we have to go through repetition of birth and death. People are most influenced by the mode of ignorance, and some are influenced by passionate mode of material nature. And under the spell of these two modes, a living being is situated. Sorry, the living being is actuated by the material conception of life. The mundane qualities do not allow a living entity to understand its real position. The qualities of both ignorance and passion strongly bind one to the illusory bodily conception of the self. The best amongst the fools who are thus deluded are those who engage in the altruistic activities under the spell of material mode of passion. Bhagavad Gita, which is direct Krishna Katha, gives humanity the elementary lessons that the body is perishable and that the consciousness which is spread throughout the body is imperishable. The conscious being, the imperishable self, is eternally existent and cannot be killed under any circumstance, even after the dissolution of the body. Anyone who misunderstands this perishable body to be the self and who works for it in the name of sociology, politics, philanthropy, altruism, nationalism, and internationalism under the false plea of bodily conception of life is certainly a fool and does not know the implications of reality and unreality. So here, nicely put, that this Bhagavad Gita is Krishna Katha, which is spoken directly by the Lord, and it gives the basic elementary education. So the basic elementary stuff is to understand that we are not the body and we are soul. So that means we have to understand this is the starting point of jnana. All that we have read and heard in this world till now, it is all ajnana. No, all our schools, colleges, and things like that. So why it is called ajnana? Because it has not taught us that this body is different from me. So it has only taught, all my education all these years have only taught me that this body is you yourself, and you have to protect your body, you have to take care of your body, and you have to take care of things which are connected to your body. That is called ajnana. So jnana means, no, you are not this body, you don't have anything to do with this world, your only business is to get out of this place. No, that is jnana, right? So here we see that okay. So Krishna is giving this kind of knowledge, and then Prabhupada is mentioning here sociology, politics, philanthropy, altruism, nationalism, internationalism. So these are all different ways in which the Ajnana takes its shape, and then it's different ways. Uh, it is just presented in different ways. That's all. It's attractive coverings. And so, but then the content inside is Ajnana. Okay. Some of them are above the modes of ignorance and passion and are situated in mode of goodness. But mundane goodness is always contaminated by tinges of ignorance and passion. So there is no pure goodness in the material world. No, that's not possible to be seen. So pure goodness means it is it is liberated state. So in this material world, even if we say a person is in mode of goodness, so he has to be contaminated with a little bit of ignorance and passion. Otherwise, no, there is no strict material goodness or pure material goodness. It's not possible. So if there is pure goodness, then it becomes spiritual. Hmm? Okay, mundane goodness can enlighten one that the body and the self are different, and no, that's the point of jnana. So jnana starts in the mundane realm. So it is the jnana yoga is not full and full is spiritual. So no, jnana also starts with the mundane realm. So where a person is starting to understand, I am different from this body, I am different from this matter, I am spirit. No, that much of understanding comes. So that is possible by mundane goodness. Mundane goodness can enlighten one that the body and the self are different, and one in goodness is concerned with self and not the body. But due to being contaminated, those in the mundane goodness cannot understand the real nature of the self as a person. Their impersonal conception of the self as distinct from the body keeps them in the mode of goodness within the material nature. And unless they are attracted by Krishna Katha, they will never be liberated from the bondage of material existence. Krishna Katha is the only remedy for all people of the world because it can situate one in pure consciousness of the self and liberate one from the material bondage. To preach Krishna Katha all over the world, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, is the greatest missionary activity, and all sensible men and women of the world may join in this great movement started by Lord Chaitanya. Right, so this even the material mode of goodness, so it is not that a person is getting some transcendental association, or he's getting any opportunity to take prasadam or hear the holy name or hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So even without all these things, like a person can come up to the level of material mode of goodness. Now, how he can acquire karanam guna sangosya sadasajnoni janmashu. So by coming in contact with a particular mode, he can develop the qualities of that particular mode. So if a person comes in contact with material mode of goodness, he can actually develop no jnana. So that is he can come up to the point of understanding the difference between body and soul. But then until unless he hears Krishna Katha, he gets the association of devotees, or he gets some kind of sukruti, devotional sukruti, through some way, of either of hearing the holy name or taking prasadam or serving a devotee unknowingly, some way, if he can get some sukruti, so then he gets to hear Krishna Katha. And if he gets to hear Krishna Katha, then he can be situated in the pure mode of goodness. So he can gradually develop to the pure mode of goodness. Otherwise, it is not possible. Otherwise, generally, it is not possible for anyone and everyone to just come to the spiritual platform. And material platform is sufficient to come to the point of jnana, but then that will not take us quite far. So we need to have the association of devotees. We need to have the touch of Krishna conscious entities. So that is when we can actually come to the Vishuddha Sattva, or complete transcendental goodness, or transcendental, transcendental Sattva. So that is very important. Okay. So today we have certain uh, works to be completed. So I just thought of doing only half an hour today. So we will stop here, and we will continue back again tomorrow. Right. So today is a very packed day, being Sunday. Hare Krishna. So we will stop here, and we will again resume back tomorrow. Hare Krishna.